My dear students and young job seekers, welcome you back to yet one more video on virtual placement interview. So we are actually continuing with personality interview PI and short videos I have been sharing with you. Now here is one more that is titled as virtual placement interview. Now before we go into what is a virtual interview or otherwise called as online interview, let us first find out what are the challenges the traditional face-to-face campus interview actually faces, right? When the companies undertake this type of traditional face-to-face campus drives, right, physically. So here are some challenges which we list out. That is why people are going, or recruiters are now more keen about going into a virtual mode or performing online recruitment drives. Now what are those challenges? First of all, companies face the challenge of multiple campuses, right? And they cannot visit all those campuses which are geographically dispersed to locate the right candidate. Okay. Now next one is the expense part. There is significant expenses when they set up the venues. They have to travel, expenses are there, and other administrative operations. Third is the pressure on the university or the institution's budget. See, there are a lot of small institutions which cannot afford the expenditure when the recruiters visit physically and they have to make all those arrangements. Also from the recruiter side, there could be limitations of resources, for instance time and personnel, because they have to constitute a team of recruiters, right? And that team also need time and expenses. So due to all these reasons shortly listed out, nowadays companies are more keen to conduct virtual interview, at least part of the process of recruitment and selection, if not all. Now going into what this virtual or online interview or recruitment process is, right? The online job interview is a remote conversation conducted over internet, typically using video conferencing apps like Zoom, platforms like Zoom, Team, and many more. Or it can be audio chat platforms without needing your physical presence. And also traditionally, what the recruiters were doing earlier also, that was telephonic interview, right? And at least they were doing this telephonic interview for initial screening. Subsequently, they used to go in for face-to-face or physical mode. So virtual recruiters, what they do, they screen and select candidates for the job vacancies, but do that remotely without visiting personally or physically to the campuses. Now, what are the main characteristics of this virtual placement interview? Let us list out that very quickly. First thing, as I said, it is conducted remotely. They connect with people, or rather the candidates from different locations with geographical reach because of this online mode. Secondly, they are fully dependent on technology. So technology dependency is yet another typical feature or characteristics of virtual placement interview. So they rely on good internet, webcam, microphones, right? And then it is often live interview. That could be pre-recorded versions also. I'll come to that later on. But normally it is a live interview session, QA sessions. Then it has the efficiency of speed of hiring, right? It will reduce, as I said, traveling time, traveling expenses, and so all those locational barriers are overcome through virtual placements. Next is data recording. This is possible. Of course, it is done. Recording is done only after obtaining the explicit consent of the candidates. Now, all these are done in a standardized process. That means it ensures consistency and fairness for each candidates, because they will be using the very same platform, be it Zoom, Microsoft Team, or something. So there is a standardized process. So these are a few key features or characteristics of a virtual placement interview. Next is, what is the process? Now this is from the interviewee's perspective or the candidate's perspective. First of all, the candidates need to do some registration, right? And these registrations are done on a online platform. They upload the resumes, and then company do the online screening test, also using app, right? There is also something called proctoring of the shortlisted candidates. Then the assessment, second step, right? So, and this is also virtual assessment with case studies, right? With your resume, CV that you have already submitted, uploaded, and this is also done using technology or software. Third is the interview, right? And video interviews are normally nowadays done either one-to-one or a panel interview, right? Through online platforms. Then, the recruiters try to get engaged with the candidates. So, this also facilitated through through the online platform. Company do presentation, they do some QA session also, question and answer session also, right? And finally, they make a job offer, right? So, this the interviewers, you students should know. These are the steps which you have to go through. First of all, you have to do the registration, then there is a screening done, then your assessment is done by the recruiters, and then there will be a QA or the question answer session, video mode, most likely, right? They can do it also in the audio mode also, as I said. And also the most important part is this engagement. They engage with you people, right? I'll come to that again in the next, right, few minutes. And finally, there is a job offer. Now, so this virtual hiring process, what these companies do, right? Let us go into little bit more elaborately what they do. First of all, the campus selection. They don't visit each and every campus. It's not possible, neither it is required for them. So, what they do is they shortlist campuses every year using campus intelligence, right? And this helps them to get rich data. Now, organizations make campus targeting strategy. What is the target strategy? Campus targeting strategy. They list out a few, prominent ones as for their requirements, where there is a prospective candidates, good candidates, they will likelihood of getting. So, they target that. Okay. And this is also done using the last year's or previous year's experience. What was the outcome? What was the yield? Right? Next step is pre-placement engagement. Right? Companies normally talk to the candidates or rather share detailed information regarding the organization through this pre-placement engagement. Right? Here there is a presentation and a talk to create an impression on the students or the candidates, right, and connecting with the job aspirations. Okay, sometimes some organizations nowadays are more comfortable conducting hackathon and innovative ideathons. These are, mind you, very popular online recruitment tools nowadays, right? And this enables the companies to assess the candidates' real world skill and problem solving skills, and also to some extent how team oriented they are. After this, what they do? Third is, they do some candidate screening, right? What is that candidate screening? Right? They want to shortlist the number of candidates they are going to, finally, do the interview with. So, these shortlist candidates, how they come to, know. So, they conduct something called 4-pillar screening test. What are these 4 pillars? That means there are 4 numbers of screening test, and they are as follows: technical or domain skill, your hard skill; cognitive abilities, cognitive skills; then behavioral or personality tests; and finally communication skills, right? And these are done, mostly by exposing the candidates to MCQs. MCQs, that is multiple choice questions. So, and finally they come to a selection interview. So, final selection interview, this is done also adopting the virtual campus hiring strategy. So, what virtual campus hiring strategy is, this is a in-person interview, right, but on a virtual mode. recruiters don't step into your campus, but then they will ensure that the ROI, that is return of investment, whatever expenses they make on the recruitment is quite, alluring enough, good enough. Now, how you candidates need to prepare for this online job interview? You may be a fresher or having a few years experience, months experience. So, graduates like you must prepare thoroughly for online interview, focusing on some of the aspects that I am going to share with you right now. First of all, test your technology, because as you know, online or virtual interviews are conducted using technology. So technology has different components, hardware. So what you have to do, have a laptop or a computer, reliable Wi-Fi also, but avoid doing it on let's say a cell phones, right? Accessories, what do you mean by that? You have to ensure that the camera, microphone, internet connections and the interview software, Zoom, Team, right, are working, and this you have to ensure well in advance. Third is you have to choose a quiet room or a calm, neutral background with minimum of distractions, the way right now I am doing. That should not be pets around, your family should not be disturbing you, right? Next is about the lighting. See, ensure that your lights are in front of you and not behind you, right? Because they are going to look at you, right? They must be able to see you completely. So, position the light source like windows or a lamp opposite to you or in front of you. After the technology part, next thing what you have to do is, you have to prepare the content. So, what all you have to do in this stage? You have to have a hand note or a note ready with you, right? It must be a folder actually with resume, cover letter and some notes here and there. And you are not to read these notes, mind you. You may refer to those, right? But you are never to read it. Then also you have to, as usual in a normal interview, you have to research and know the role for which you are appearing the interview. So thoroughly understand the company's culture, products and services, where they operate, and also know in detail about the job description that is already posted, right? And you may also connect your past achievements, that means your experience, how you fit into the role that you are trying to get into. Now, one more thing is more important is you have to prepare all your answers using the STAR method, which I have already discussed in your previous video I mean, right? What is the STAR method? Situation, task, action and results. So, your answer should be structured, or your answer which will depict your skill and your experience must be structured around this STAR method using situation, task, action and results for all these, some behavioral event interview, what you are likely to. So, first one is I told you technology preparation, then the content preparation, third is environmental preparation. Okay, choose your space very meticulously. Find a quiet, well-lit private area with clean, professional looking background. Okay, there should not be too many clutters. Then minimize distractions, right? Inform your house members or housemates, turn off your mobile phones, computer notifications. All these are going to bring in some sort of distractions. Then about your personal looks, that means your appearance, right? So, your first impression can tell a lot about your personality, right? So, you have to dress professionally, wear appropriate attire, right? Just the way you should look in a in-person interview, right? And this will actually boost your own self-confidence and also show a respect for the recruiter. Also, one more important thing is, you have to join 10 to 15 minutes before, right? So that you can handle any last minute glitches or technical issues that may crop up. Then during the interview, what you are going to do? First and foremost thing some people neglect is stay hydrated. So have a bottle of water the way I have kept it here, right? So You can have a glass of water even. So first thing, stay hydrated. Second, maintain eye contact with the interviewers. Look at the camera lens when speaking to, and this will stimulate your eye contact with the interviewers. This is very essential, right? And be engaged, nod, smile, right? And then use appropriate hand gestures, right? This way, not this, right? Then speak clearly, taking pause in between. So, and don't use these filler words like right? Like don't use this, right? Better to remain silent if you want to take a pause. Now, taking pause in between sentences, right? And this will also enable you to break up long answers into different chunks, right? This will enable you to be more effective in the communication, and your listeners, I mean your recruiters, will be able to better grasp the contents, what you are sharing. Then listening carefully is very essential. Pay attention during the interview to avoid missing very important things they might be sharing. Your interviewers might be asking you. And you may ask or request the interviewers very politely, mind you, to repeat certain things, right, which you are unable to get in the first instance. But don't do it too often. Then use right body language, right? Body language is very essential part of your non-verbal communication, as I said in the previous videos. So keep your focus on the webcam. Hand gestures should also be, used just to explain and also stay engaged. Now, after the end of the online or virtual interview, what all you need to pay attention to, or do rather? Ask questions, right, when they ask you or give you an offer. At the very end, what they do, interviewers, they can ask you anything you want to know, feel free to ask. So that is the occasion. Don't say that I have nothing to ask. And also don't bombard with so many questions. Have 2 to 3 max question to ask. So what all you can ask them, right? And you can ask them about the roles, challenges, the role you are aspiring for, or the job for which you are trying to, you can ask some role, challenges, or rather the team dynamics, where this particular role is going to fit into ultimately. Organizational or company culture you can little bit ask or probe, right? And something about, let's say, performance expectations. These are few things you can ask. All these will show that you are engaged, you are really keen, and you are really interested in. Next is craft a personalized email to each of the interviewers, right? What you have to do is you can thank them for their time, mentioning specific points from the conversation you had during the interview. This you can do post. One more thing I must mention here, avoid asking certain questions at the end when they give you a chance. What are those questions you should always avoid, right? Very sensitive ones. Basic information which are already found, you can find in the official website, right? Don't ask those things, again and again. And also regarding salary and benefits, never ask that, right? I can take yet another video on this, how to negotiate salary later on. But don't put this question while in your virtual interview at the end. And also, as I said, don't ask too many. It can be maximum 2 to 3, right? And then you may do some follow-up. Some students ask me whether we can do some follow-up or not. Yes, you can do, but then you have to be very tactful, right? When the time passes or the timeline fixed is already passed, right? You may send a brief follow-up email to inquire about the status, right? And also, I must tell you, handling rejection is also very essential. Suppose you are not selected in some jobs, don't feel disheartened. Sky hasn't fallen for you, right? So have this positive attitude in you that you are going to come back again with greater and more preparations. So if rejected, send a final thank you and ask for feedbacks to improve your future performance. This, will convey that you are curious to learn. Now, remember, one thing, dear students, success is where preparation and opportunity meet. So a few more advice I would like to give you, right? And this applies to both your online, virtual or face-to-face interview. Practice speaking and record yourself to check whether you are very fast, whether you are clear, are you articulating well. Make sure you are reliable and you have a fast internet connection, right? Now your internet connection will also be at times be a handicap. So be ensure that the internet connection is stable and good enough. Third is conduct the interview from your laptop and desktop, as I said earlier, and avoid as far as possible to conduct the interview on a cell phone, right? Because if you are doing it in a laptop or a desktop, it will appear you or project you as more professional. And then wear headphone. Headphone is very essential. Why it is? Because it will ensure that you can hear the interviewer's questions very clearly and also block the noise, background noise, right? Next is place a light source in front of you. The light source would be in front of you. I think right now this video shoot I am doing, I have placed some light in front. That's how I think I am more clearly visible to you all, right? And if you are doing it in natural light, you can sit opposite to a window, right? Where your light is straightway falling onto your face. Now, as I said, you have to place your webcam, right, at the eye level, right? The way I am doing it right now. The interviewers feel like you are talking to them, right? Then next is you have to ensure that your devices are plugged in, are charged adequately or are charging continuously when you are on the interview, right? So before the interview, ensure your computers and the rest of the equipments you are using are fully charged and are also plugged in, right? Now to conclude, dear job aspirants and dear my students, do prepare well, internalizing all these do's and don'ts in this video. I'll be sharing many more. This was especially focused about the virtual job interview, right? So if you keep these in mind, I can assure you, you can make yourself stand out candidate in the next interview, right? And as usual, before I end, I'll just appeal to all of you, right? If you are not yet subscribing to my channel, please do it and also share it and like it, right? Because knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied, okay? Because once you are sharing and the knowledge is getting multiplied, there is something called compounding effect, okay, that is happening in your circle, right? Thank you all.